Okay. The call is live. The call is being recorded. Everyone that is on the live call, thank you for coming on and being a part of it. We appreciate you guys taking some time. And of course, thank you once again to our wonderful, wonderful Wisconsin players that are taking the time out of their busy day and weeks. And of course, Zach Sokolowski, who's got a test coming up to give you guys some insight and information on a day in the life of a college lacrosse player. Now, making sure that we're focusing more on the STEM specific pathways, some of the wonderful opportunities that can come along with choosing a career path like that. And of course, how we can find ways to manage that said career path and still be a college athlete. So that being said, we're going to start with a couple of intros. So we're going to kick this off first with Mr. Julian Greendeer. Julian, Notre Dame native, a junior at Detroit Mercy, studying mechanical engineering. Julian has seen plenty of minutes throughout the course of the 2 seasons he's had the chance to play with the Titans up in Detroit, coming off of an injury from last season. So I know that he is gearing up for a big one this year. 3-time all-conference team captain, led his team in points sophomore, junior year at Notre Dame. Also played for TW up north, and was a member of National Honor Society. Julian, what's going on?
How's it going, guys? Yeah, as Billy kind of said, my name is Julian Greendeer. Kind of gave a little introduction, but yeah, I'm a junior studying mechanical engineering at the University of Detroit Mercy from Green Bay, Wisconsin. I went to Notre Dame. I'm also Native American. I'm 2 different tribes. I'm from the Oneida Nation, which is in Green Bay, and then the Ho-Chunk Nation as well. So kind of representing both. But as Billy kind of said, yeah, I play lacrosse at Detroit Mercy. I'm an offensive player. Coming off a little bit of an injury, but yeah, looking forward to bounce back. But excited to get on this call and kind of talk STEM with you guys. As I kind of mentioned, I am in a mechanical engineering degree, and I kind of chose that because I've been interested in that since I was younger. I like the mechanical aspect of things and the math and real world applications of the STEM related things. So I like seeing my work on paper come to fruition on physical things. So yeah.
Love it. Thank you, Julian. Pumped to learn more about you from your time at DM as we continue to move on in this combo. We're going to kick it off next year with Mr. The Logan Berries Leatherberry, former 2024 grad from the state championship winning Oregon High School. Go Panthers. Former All-American in his time, first team All-State, multiple All-Conference goalie junior, senior year. Second team all-conference as a sophomore, and finished with 909 saves throughout the course of his time as a high school goalie, which is currently the active standing record for the most saves within the state of Wisconsin. Logan, what's going on, dude?
How's it going, guys? Like Billy said, from Oregon, so a little bit of rivalry with Billy there, but just super pumped to be here and to give you guys a little insight. I'm a little different. I'm a pre-med major, so kind of STEM, kind of not. But I know there's somebody out there that wants to be a pre-med, wants to go into that stuff. And it's something that I wish I had when I was thinking about going into that and how it would affect lacrosse and just life, playing lacrosse in college in general. So yeah, super pumped to be here. And thank you, Billy.
Fire up. Thank you, Logan. We're then going to go pivot over to Mr. Zach Sokolowski, another 2024 grad from the Kellerman High School. Go Lasers. Second time in a row I've said that on these calls. Former 4-sport athlete at KM for lacrosse, football, track and field, and swimming. So not only an academic weapon, but an athletic one as well, too. Honor roll member, made plenty of plays on the field for the Kellerman Lasers and in multiple facets of his time. And is now at Lawrence University up in Green Bay. Also in a position to study more of an engineering track, and is so pumped for him to be able to shed a little more light on what a 3-2 program kind of looks like and the ability for players to still pursue a role within STEM and still have the opportunity to play D3 athletics. So Soko, take it away, Michael.
Hey, I'm Zach Soko. As Coach Billy said, the reason why I chose STEM for as being an athlete and as D3, because a lot of D3 schools don't actually have engineering, and I've always been interested in doing that. But I was a guy that wasn't didn't have the ability to get D1 offers. So it was either I was going to quit lacrosse or I was going to have to not do what I wanted to do with my career. So the cool thing is with a lot of D3 schools is they have a 3-2 engineering program where you go to the school for 3 years, you get a undergraduate degree with whatever you want, and you have to do required classes. Then you transfer to an affiliate school and you do 2 years there and you can do an engineering path that you choose. So right now I'm a physics major at Lawrence University and I'm planning to transfer to WashU in St. Louis to do either mechanical engineering or electrical engineering. I'm not chosen yet because I'm still in the midst of all the classes. So yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. So I'm pumped to learn a little more about your experience and time throughout this process as well, too. And then, of course, last but certainly not least, Mr. Ironman himself, Wade Meisner, 2024 grad as well at NGIT, studying mechanical engineering, 2024 Bob Scott Award winner, first team all-conference, academic all-American, multi-team conference for the Franklin Sabres. Also, correct me if I'm wrong, Wade, you got a ring in football as well, too?
Yeah.
Love that. Love that. Don't let the homies forget. So, Wade, kick it off, my man.
What's up, guys? I'm Wade Meisner. I graduated from Franklin, which, if any of you guys know, the ball at Franklin isn't the greatest. Trying to improve it, but so that was honestly a big thing for me, was going through like the whole club lacrosse and going through high school lacrosse, and coaches talking about like maybe going somewhere else to like play or do anything to like get better recruitments. But all I know was I wanted to do engineering and I wanted to play high level lacrosse. So I just kind of put my nose down, stuck with the program, and I was able to end up at NGIT where there's a lot of mechanical engineers. I'm a mechanical engineering major, so there's a lot of mechanical engineers and a lot of lacrosse guys. So turned out well for me.
Perfect. I would say go Pack Go, and I mean it, but everyone here on this call knows that I do not. So we are going to pivot over to getting this party started. So I know everyone had the chance to kind of speak a little bit more about the why, but let's kind of dig a little bit deeper into that, right? So how did academics and your specific interest within STEM kind of factor into your college decision-making process, right? Like how were you able to be in a position where you knew the priority was still what you wanted to do academically, without sacrificing, the passion piece of what this game has meant to you? So, Wade, do you want to kick us off on that front?
Yeah, I can do that. So I did have the opportunity to have a couple Division I offers. I was in talks with other schools as well, but a lot of them try and, I don't want to say discourage, but they highly recommend not doing engineering. But as soon as I visited NGIT and was talking to them, immediately they were like, "Oh yeah, we have 10 engineers on the team." Like, they were super encouraging about it. And I mean, I didn't anticipate going out to school in Newark, New Jersey, but it ended up being a perfect fit for me just because I can get my mechanical engineering degree and still play high level lacrosse with a bunch of guys who have the same attitude.
Love that. Absolutely love that. And like the importance of just making sure that, you're not kind of losing sight of what the big picture is, and knowing that you do have the opportunity to figure out there are homes that match that same culture and identity that I'm so hungry for as well too. So Soko, I know you mentioned you want to talk a little more about that 3-2 path. Feel free to kind of go in the weeds a little bit more about that for us.
Yeah, for sure. So I was one of those guys in high school where at first I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. Then I took my physics class. I was like, oh, I really like this. But while I was in the recruiting process, I never got a Division I offer or like a school that was an engineering school. So I was kind of stuck. I was like, do I quit lacrosse and just go to a giant state school where I can go and get my engineering degree and not play the sport that I love anymore? Or can I find a school that has like some sort of program to get myself to the spot I want to be in my career? So I had a coach, actually he was a football coach, but he was coming on behalf of the whole Lawrence University because I played football as well. And he told me about the 3-2 program where you do your 3 years at Lawrence and then 2 years at the affiliate school. And then I gave Lawrence a try, and it was honestly the best decision I've ever made because I'm here loving my school. I'm loving D3 athletics. It fits me perfectly. I was one of the kids in high school that was like, oh, I want to go D1 and I want to be at the highest level. But honestly, I think the D3 level is perfect for me because I can get my degree that I wanted to. The school fits perfectly for like how I wanted. I didn't want like a huge school. It was like a mid-sized school. So that's exactly what I wanted. And also I can just pursue the career I wanted. So going D3 and pursuing a 3-2 program was very beneficial for me.
100%. And, you know, like there are sacrifices you need to make for that as well too, right? But I think there are so many other opportunities on the back end of it that you initially weren't really aware of that now you're in that position to take full advantage of it. I mean, dude, the sky's the absolute limit, and you have
Exactly.
access to some
Thank you.
incredible schools to like finish out that degree. So like
Mhm.
clearly kudos to you. As if 4 sports in high school wasn't enough, right? Let's go play 2 in college right away and then make
Yeah.
the boxes I need. Love it, Soko, love it. So then clearly, right, like Logan, you were referencing this a bit earlier in regards to that like help component piece or a little bit of that knowledge that maybe we would have liked to have earlier, but weren't really in the position of doing so. And, you know, sink or swim, right? So now I got to find a way to figure that out. So you want to talk a little more about that aspect?
Yeah, I think just with that help piece, it can be tough when you know you want to go into a field or a major that coaches try to sway you away from. But if it's something you're passionate about and you want to go into it, you'll find a way. But it's just about finding that help piece, that the tutor, the academic advisor at your high school, your parents, your connections that you've built through your teams and their parents and all of that stuff, finding your help and have them help you kind of to navigate that. And okay, maybe this school, you love the school, but you can't do what you want to do. So is it worth it? Is it you go like Soko's path and okay, maybe I'm getting the looks I want or I'm not, but it doesn't fit me academically.
Mhm.
So it's not worth it. So just finding that help, that I kind of navigated that by myself, and that was hard.
Mhm.
It was so hard. But
Yeah.
just getting that support system in place early and really just hammering that, it's gonna cause you just to find your home and really, really enjoy what you're doing.
1,000%, man. And I think that's a really, really great segue to an open floor topic that I'm more than happy to hear your guys' insight on. There are some opportunities, right, where that support system is very much built into my experience. Like, you know, one of the topics we talked about in the last call, so many individuals find themselves within the realm of business. And you have these support systems that are like literally forged in the locker room for year and year and year and year for you to be able to have that sense of support. So it's not like you have to really seek it out or make it a priority. So I think, you know, open the floor to you fellas. Like, how have you guys found a way to get the help that you know you need, especially when that help isn't as accessible as being able to pop into the locker room before practice and being like, hey, I need help with my homework. Like, who's got me? You know?
Yeah, I can touch on that. So I've built a really, really good relationship with my like academic advisor, who just works with our team. And so get to know her well. And it's just pop into her office and say, hey, I need help. Let's work through this. So I started that last year, and she found a tutor for me. And so three times a week I go for like my anatomy classes to this tutor, and we just work through everything we just learned in class and just really hammer that home. But if I never took that and went to my advisor and said, hey, I need help, I would have struggled so bad in that class. But just being proactive and saying it's okay to need help, it's okay to get a tutor, it's okay to reach out. So it's just that piece just helped me a lot, and I'm finding success in it. So
Love that. And I appreciate you, Logan, for putting your neck out there and like finding a way to get that help too. So important.
Yeah, I can chime in also.
You can go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, just leaning on your peers as well, because I know like going to a new school, new state sometimes can be a little difficult, especially if you don't know a lot of people already going there. So kind of forming those connections, those friendships with your classmates is really beneficial. And especially for me too, because I'm at a smaller university, we don't have a lot of students in all of our classes all the time, like you would have at a bigger university. So you're in these classes with these guys, these your other peers, for a continuous amount through the day, multiple classes, and having those relationships formed definitely helps, especially in terms of studying and kind of seeking help just through your classmates.
100%. And like, it's a really cool opportunity to, I know this sounds counterintuitive, right? Like we come into our collegiate experience with kind of a built-in network of friends and people that you can lean on and rely on and count on as teammates. But going down this sort of path, like you guys are forced to create and build other relationships and bridges with other individuals that are going to be in a position to offer that assistance as well too. So if anything, it's actually forcing you to put your neck out there from a school standpoint and build some of those relationships you historically maybe not have had previously. So I know, Wade, if you wouldn't mind, like being at a school like NGIT, you're definitely surrounded by a lot more engineers. So it makes this process a little bit more manageable from a seeking out help perspective. So you want to chat on that a little bit?
Yeah, so we probably have about a third of our roster is engineers, so not as many as there used to be on our team, but basically like the minute I got there, I got a running document from like the older guys that just has like every class that I like should be trying to take, like what year, like what professor I should be taking, like what the homework looked like. It was basically just like I was set up for success like from the get-go, but then also just a huge thing is having teammates who are also in the same position as me. So like I'm struggling with like differential equations, and like I'll just go over to my buddy's like place and we'll just hammer through it together and figure it out. It's a lot different than having to figure it out by yourself. So that's definitely something I appreciate. And then also if you're struggling, like there is a robust like I'm sure a lot of schools have tutors, but especially at NGIT, they make it very easy for us to go find tutors. So I have used that.
Oh man, shout out Mount Rushmore of like most challenging classes I've ever taken in my time of my engineering degree. DiffEq, like the math of it not being math. Like,
Yeah.
no thanks. No thanks. I wouldn't go back. But kudos to you, my friend. So Soko, you were trying to speak on something as well too?
Yeah, similar to Julian and Wade. I had obviously at a smaller school. So at Lawrence, there's two main things that I do when I'm really struggling. The first being our professors have office hours, and usually they always do post on a syllabus. So, but usually there's no one in there because no one takes advantage of these office hours. But I go in there and I'll go with like problems. I'll be like, hey, what do I do here? Can you help me with this problem? Especially before exams. And then they kind of run through, they tell me what to look for before exams, what to look for in homeworks. So that's super important. And also tutors, like Wade said, accessing tutors is super easy, especially at Lawrence. They actually have drop-in tutoring. They just sit there and wait for people to come in and ask questions. So literally in the library, 20 feet away from me. So if I wanted to, I could go ahead and do that right now. But yeah, it's super accessible and easy if you'd like to do that.
Awesome. And like every school is different in regards to the level of resources that are offered, but I think something is like very common amongst most schools is you're going to have that realm of tutors, TAs, right? Things that are very much related to the school component. But then on top of that, as athletes, you have a completely different realm of assistance that you could rely on. That is like their full-time job is to be in a position to try and help and set you up with the right person to help you if they're not the right person that's going to do it. So I think that's also a great transition into now taking a deep breath. School is hard, right? We all understand that, right? But there's still so many other wonderful things we get the chance to take advantage of, both on field and off the field. So I think this is a really nice way to segue into more of some of the day-to-day as a STEM student, right? You don't have the luxury of having 2 classes a day and then being able to just go all in on your prehab, post-hab, extra reps on the field, extra film chats, right? So I think let's talk a little more about what that standard day in the life may look like, whether it might be in the fall, especially how we manage it within the springtime, as you guys are counting on playing ball at least 6 days a week on top of everything else that you need to do. So Julian, you want to get started on that front?
Yeah. Yeah, so as I kind of mentioned earlier, I'm a junior, so I'm really starting to get in the depths of my courses and more of the advanced engineering classes right now. So being in season, it's really starting to load up, which is why I have to really schedule out and manage my time wisely. But I guess I'll run you guys through my day and kind of what my average day-to-day and week looks like. So for me, I usually start the day the night before, actually. I'll try and prep a lot of what I need, my backpack, my school supplies, maybe my clothes, and then my breakfast, because we have practice at 7 a.m. and we practice in an offsite facility. So I have to wake up around 5:30, kind of get ready and just wake up, and then practice 7 to 9. And then I make the commute to school, which is a little bit of drive, but not too much, maybe 20 minutes. And that's when my classes kind of start. I'm at school from 10 a.m. until about 6:30 p.m. every day. So it gets kind of busy, but I'm able to manage my time. And then I guess on a Monday or a typical first half of the week, I have classes, 3 classes, and then 1 lab. So most of my classes are an hour and a half long, and then the lab is about 3 or 4 hours, depending on how long it takes or what kind of professor you have who likes to talk a lot and whatnot. So some will be longer than others, and some will let us out early, but I'll have a lot of classes. And then in my break times, we have scheduled workouts or team workouts. And this is different for different divisions as well. I know like for Division 1, we have a certain amount of hours that we can do. So we're practicing and working out every day for like 6 days out of the week, which can be a lot, but like I said, manage the time and it kind of is easier to do. But I have workouts in between, and then after I have a little bit of break, I make sure to get my food in me and kind of really fuel up, because that's important to get that nutrition in you, because recovery is a really important process, and especially if you want to play at the collegiate level.
Yeah.
And then I'll have a couple spans of hours where I have a little bit of a break time. So that's when I'll get my rehab in, my extra work, but most importantly, my homework. I get assigned a lot of homework, which generally takes me about 4 to 6 hours to complete like weekly assignments per class. And then the daily assignments, if I get them, are between like 30 and 2 hours, or 30 minutes, 2 hours. So it can be between 8 to 14 hours of work during the week, which it can be a lot sometimes, but working with my classmates and with my roommate as well, he's also a mechanical engineer, we can kind of get work done pretty efficiently if we stay on topic. But
And
yeah,
Julian,
as I said, it's important to just prioritize your recovery as well. I mean, I spend at least 30 minutes of rehab each day because I'm getting older as well. So my body is starting to slow down. My joints are starting to hurt a little bit, but it's most important to stay on top of school and rehab, because it can start to pile up and you can feel overworked or flooded with school. So, yeah.
Awesome. So I guess 2 questions for you, Julian. Question 1, do you have like a certain lab that you're in right now, or one that you've taken recently that like you're really enjoying, or like just like finding yourself getting a lot out of?
Yeah, I actually took a science and materials course in the fall, and I really enjoyed that because we talked a lot about like I would say plastics and failure points, which kind of went in hand with lacrosse, and our lacrosse heads. We're sponsored by Warrior, so we get free Warrior apparel and gear and whatnot. So what was pretty funny actually was our heads last year would shatter in the snow and in the cold because of the plastic and the type of plastic it was. So what I was learning was kind of going in hand with the failure of my lacrosse head. So I kind of really like that and want to hopefully apply that to the real world and possibly work for a lacrosse company like that in the future. But
Dude, I think that would be incredible use of like both lacrosse and your engineering degree. Like being a design engineer for a lacrosse like product company, data testing, product testing, you get to go outside and hit the stick against a tree 1,000 times. Like, get 1,000 more reps. Why not? That sounds like a good time. I love that. So then I guess my second question for you, I know you mentioned, the importance of the prehab, post-hab aspect now that you're especially finding yourself on the tail end of your collegiate career. Do you want to speak maybe a little bit more on that? Because we are talking to a lot of people that, and you guys remember those days as well too, where you get to hop out fresh to the car, couple quick trip chicken sandwiches, roll right out onto the field, no warm up, no stretch, and you get to just move 110%. Like those days are, I don't want to say long gone, but they're definitely in our rearview mirror now, right?
Yeah, no, those days are slowly fading behind me, unfortunately, or fortunately, however you want to see it. But I guess my rehab and kind of prehab, post-hab, it kind of starts with food and nutrition as well as sleep. I'll kind of get on this point later on as well, but sleep is super important for your body and kind of letting your muscles and your body relax and recover after pushing your body for so long and kind of enduring so much. And then after, hydration, I make sure to try and get a gallon of water every day. I take my supplements, vitamins, and then I try and meal prep and meal plan, which I'll also kind of talk about a little later. But I think that's also what's really important, just being on a schedule and getting the right nutrients, kind of mapping out your food and counting calories, what you need to intake, your protein, carbs, and whatnot, and then kind of going after it from there. And then, of course, taking advantage of your trainers. Your trainers are going to be your best friends. I'm always talking to my trainer. He's one of the guys, so I'm always in there with him. He knows what I need, and we get after it. So
1,000%. Like, and it's like, I know it sounds so crazy to say, because the words are way easier than the actions, but you have to take care of yourself. As simple as that, right? Your body's a temple, so however you choose to treat it, is how it's going to choose to respond. So going back to the lab course piece, though, we're going to go to our pre-med track homie next. Logan, you want to tell us a little bit more about what your life has been like on the pre-med train as a Division I athlete and how you've been able to manage that?
Yeah. So, obviously, like pre-med, medical, all that stuff, it's going to be lab heavy. It's going to be hands-on, all of that stuff. So I'll just take like today. So I had anatomy lecture this morning. Then I had my anatomy lab right after that for about 2.5 hours. I had a little hour gap, and then I had a lab from 4 to 8 tonight. So, just being able to like manage that and like Julian, find time in your day to eat and to hydrate and go see your trainers and do your homework. It can be tough, but once you get that system in place and you get into that routine, it's a lot. It's manageable. So then in the fall, I had a lab that like interfered with practice, and having our coaching staff is so supportive. They stress the importance of academics. So every Thursday I miss practice because I had lab that I couldn't miss lab. And so kind of juggling that piece too with extra reps and, okay, I missed practice. Well, I got to go in and watch film with coach on what I missed. But just finding that system or that staff that's like, yes, school's important. Go to class. Like, don't skip class to do something else.
Right.
So, but with any lab, and I'm sure it's I know all the STEM majors are lab heavy. But it can get long, but as long as you block out your time and really focus on yourself and your studies, it's completely manageable.
Love it. So then I guess tell us a little bit more about that from your fall experience, then going into the spring experience. Like, did you have specific options that you felt like would be a priority to kind of make up that missed practice? Was your support system strong enough to say, hey, we need you really to focus on this today or that today? Or were you kind of just put in a position to, for lack of a better term, find work, right?
Like a little bit of both, because at this level, you're expected to always find work, get extra reps, get touches in, go run on the treadmill, like whatever it is you're expected. But it's also just go into the coach's office and be like, hey, I missed practice. Like, let's talk about what we went over. If we went over the clear, or if we went over a defensive set or something, It's just, let's talk about this. Let's watch film on it and let's really dial this in, because you are responsible for what you miss. Because you're still a commitment to both academics and athletics.
Mhm.
So just taking that again upon yourself to really just be like, okay, what did I miss? Let's talk about it. And then also, like, I know here, I'm sure other places, we have like open field times where it's like field's open if you want to go get touches. And it's just always going to those, always being at those. It's just something you have to do if you're gonna miss stuff and miss practice.
No doubt, man. Dude has to show up, right? You can't talk about being the dude and not be the dude. It just comes down to hard work and getting more calluses on your hands, and doing it as much as you can, just on a day-by-day basis, right? Because that's all you're in control of. So now, from a class perspective, right, how early in the process do you need to be proactive when it comes to like finding out what that next course load looks like? Do you get more support from, the admission side and or like athletic side that kind of helps manage that? Like, tell us a little bit more about that dynamic.
Yeah, I can touch on that. So
Yeah.
I think so I don't know how it works for other levels or other schools, but as an athlete, I get to register for classes first, because our coaches put out times that we have to work around. So our block, our coach thinks it's a great idea to practice from 1 to 5 every day. So that means we have an hour of film, an hour for treatment, and then a 2-hour practice. And that means that all of my classes have to either be before that time or after that time. So like Julian, I kind of just front load my week. So I have like 2 to 3 classes a day with a lab. So that ends up being like an 8:30, a 10 o'clock, and then a 6 to 9 class with a lecture or with a lab after it for an hour.
Mhm.
So those days really suck. But then getting later into the week, I'll have like just a class in the morning. And then we lift 3 times a week. But so like walking through like literally today, I'm coming back from an injury. So I woke up at 7, drove to like another type of therapy that I was doing this morning, and then drove back, went to my class at 10 o'clock, and then went from there to the facility, met with my coach because we had to have like personal meetings, and then ate, then came back, had film, went through all of that, and then practice ended, and then like towards the end of the week is when I can get all my extra reps in. So I went up to our turf room, did like 45 minutes of work, headed back. Then I walked back to the house because I live close to campus, and then hammered through my homework, and now I'm here.
Love it.
I just think that's your days will be packed, but you just kind of have to make the most of it. Like I wouldn't have it any other way. So
No doubt. And like anything else, right? Like you're gonna have good days, you're gonna have bad days, you're gonna have a lot more hectic days and some days that are a little bit more laid back to give you more of that time to commit to extra reps or just commit to the things that you need to commit to as a human that keeps you in the best space you humanly possibly can be. So Wade, have you run into a situation at all where like practices kind of been impacted by labs, or you had to be able to attend a half and then you're one of those guys that's like catching the quick shuttle that brings you back to campus? Like maybe talk a little more about that dynamic.
yeah, so we do have the luxury. We practice on our facility. I mean, we only have one field, but so we'll practice there. And actually, I'd say the biggest thing is for exams. Like our exams are during like a common period, they call them. So sometimes that'll be like right during practice. So I'll literally be able to do like half of practice, and then coach like his alarm will go off and he'll send us on our way. Like usually there'll be like a couple guys, but there also has been like I had a game on a Tuesday where I had a lab scheduled, and I couldn't miss that lab. So I emailed the TA that was instructing that lab, and he told me I could just come later in the week. But later in the week was during practice. But coaches like completely understood, told me to just get it done. So I missed practice that day, but still got to go to a game. So I think the biggest piece is just communication with your coaches and with your teachers. If everybody's on the same page, usually it works out.
Crazy, right? Like just like take the extra effort to make that connection and relationship. It allows you to be more straightforward and transparent. They're only going to give it back to you, and like you're trying to find ways to help, and it's their job to find ways to help you too. So just put your neck out there, have the conversation. Everything's going to work out. Soko, you want to kind of take us a little bit more through a standard day in the life of you up at Lawrence now that we're in the springtime?
Yeah, for sure. So we do not have a facility on campus right now that we can use that's indoor. As you know, Wisconsin is very cold right now, so it's like negatives. We're not going to practice outside. We can't even, we're not allowed to. So what we need to do is we practice at a facility off campus, and we practice at 6 a.m. So I'll be waking up around 4:45 every day. I'll eat breakfast, get my stuff ready. I'll head to practice, get there between 30 or 15 minutes early. I'll practice, and then I'll get back from practice. First class is at 8:30. So I go to class. I have another class after 8:30 at 9:50, then another class after 9:50 at 11:10. And then I'm done for the day. I have all my classes that's in the morning. So then the rest of the day, I'm able to do whatever I need to do. So I'm a TA. I grade homework for one of the physics classes. So that takes about 3 hours for me to do. Then I'll do my own homework, which will take about 2 hours, depending on, the load of the class, and how much I'm doing that day. And then after that, I'll eat dinner. And then pretty much the rest of my day, I have the ability to do whatever I want. And so I go to bed early. So usually I go to bed pretty early. But yeah, it's kind of just a repeat of that right now until we get games hopefully soon. So we have a scrimmage in about 2 weeks. So
Love it.
right now we're just practicing. So early mornings, early nights.
Yeah, I know the ground is hard because it's cold, but like still pick up your shovel, baby. Let's go compete.
Mhm. Yeah.
So clearly you found a system that really makes sense for you, Soko, when it comes to that morning grind. And I think everybody's different, right? But I hope there's the common theme here that we're really talking about is finding what works, like finding the system that makes the most sense for you as a person, and then doing everything you can to just take that system and throw it within the schedule that you have to make it work in. So I think we're going to pivot more to that like time management and kind of accountability piece, knowing that we're getting into the weeds more of what this system looks like for each of us. So I know Soko had the chance to kind of go into that a little bit. So Julian, you want to go into that? Habits and systems that you found a way to make sense now that you've got maybe an extra year under your belt compared to some of these young strapping lads?
Yeah, definitely. I can't harp on this enough. Rest is super important, and I kind of base my time around getting at least 8 hours a night if I can, because my coaches harp on it and my trainers harp on it. It really does impact how you go about your day the next day, you can be more locked in or not. So I try and get my rest at least 8 hours a night. But I guess another habit is more school wise would be to write out my weeks and I guess my whole month on my whiteboard calendar. I have a whiteboard calendar on my wall right here. And basically what I'll do is I'll have a weekly to-do list, which I'll typically do on Sundays because Sundays are mainly my free day where I just do little chores around the house or some extra little work here or there. And I'll have my daily schedules written out, and then I'll have like other to-do lists and whatnot. But I just want to have an organized physical thing that I can look at so I can tell myself what needs to be accomplished and what needs to be done. And this kind of just helps me keep it organized and not feel overwhelmed as I go into the next week. And then another thing too is that most professors post their syllabus with due dates on them and kind of write those out, and as well as assignments and test dates. So I kind of map those out ahead of time on like my planner and my whiteboard when the months and times come as well. So that definitely helps me be more organized and feel more prepared for when the time comes. But I would say another good habit in season is, we kind of mentioned this before, just communication with professors and coaches about games and interferences with practice and maybe lab schedules with games or class schedule with games. So doing that really early on and kind of printing out and giving your teachers a copy of what the schedule looks like early on it is a good habit to start forming and just creating that communication, because it helps you be more prepared for those later dates when you're in the depths of your season and you don't really think about that when you're thinking about school and lacrosse. And then I would say also just I mentioned this before, but breakfast and food prep, that helps me a lot save time throughout the week as well, because I don't have the most time in the world. So that's kind of what I do. But one mistake that I have made is telling myself I'm going to lock in during extended periods of time and then leaving work to do over those long periods of time, which I kind of overestimate my energy and the amount of energy I would have throughout the day, thinking I would be able to go to practice and go to class and eat and rehab and hit the wall, then go to class and lab, and then have this 2-hour block where I'm going to do a lot of homework. It doesn't always happen like that. So kind of just being realistic with yourself as well, and just telling yourself that, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. I need to stay off my phone for this other small period of time where I can get a little bit of work done. That it kind of leads to more positive outcome, because otherwise you're cramming, you're not getting enough sleep, and you're kind of creating unnecessary stress for yourself. But being a college athlete can be tiring, and it's just important to build in rest times to relax and recharge, hang out with your friends, and not be as serious as you usually are during the day. So
100%. Everyone needs that time. Everyone needs that release. And you wouldn't be human without it, right? And oh my goodness, like the chills that just went down my spine. Just like thinking about that lab report that you have to get done by 8 a.m. the next day, and you're saving it for the last like 3 hours of your night, and it's just the very last thing you want to look at. And you find a way through it. But maybe with a little bit more preparation and being honest with yourself, we don't have to find ourselves in that situation too often. So then I guess Logan, right? When it comes to this piece of kind of managing that, like what sort of situations have you had the chance to run into where you've kind of had to answer for some of these last minute changes, or oh man, I can't believe I forgot this aspect of my calendar, what am I going to do next? Like there's some resources out there for you to help too.
Yeah, so last year I was in a class. We were on a road trip. It was like Friday. We were on the road all day. Oh no, I have a test and like an online class I was taking. So I emailed the teacher. I'm like, hey, I have a test. We're on the road. Can I do it when I get to the hotel? And she was like, yes, but I need somebody to proctor it for me, like for you, because and so we're lucky enough. Our academic advisor travels with us on the road to games. So it's Friday night. It's like after team dinner. And I stay down in like the hotel conference room, and my academic advisor is sitting there proctoring an exam for me. And it's just kind of that, like, the school doesn't stop just because you're on the road for a game, or just because for whatever reason. So, I probably could have taken it upon myself earlier to tell my teacher, hey, can I take this earlier? Can I take it later? But just kind of having that, you gotta just figure it out and get it done. So sitting in the hotel conference room taking an exam. So
do you remember how you did on that test?
I think I got like a 92.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, back against the wall.
Yeah.
Pressures abound. Doesn't matter. The homie comes and executes. Good for you, Logan. That's outstanding. That's outstanding.
Yeah.
So, and listen, guys, like, let's be honest, right? We're talking about a career path and an academic focus that is clearly more rigorous than others that are options, whether it's some different opportunities in the business school, within the comm school, right? Like there are a vast amount of options out there for you to go study, and you guys are going out of your way to choose some of those that are going to be way more time consuming, and candidly dictate a lot of what your schedule's like, already on top of athletics dictating what that schedule looks like as well too. Obviously there is a pot of gold at the end of this rainbow, and I'm not even talking about from a financial perspective, but just when it comes to your ability to participate in some really, really cool, like boots on the ground, real life experiences that these types of career paths can offer. So one of the final topics we're going to get into before some walk away or takeaways, let's talk about that piece. Like what sort of stuff are we really getting involved in from an internship perspective? What sort of network do we have built in with our program on the athletic side of things that is making that job hunt or career path just that much easier to attain knowing that this is still a hard market to find those types of opportunities in. So Wade, I'm going to have you kick us off on this one.
Yeah, so I'm sure you other guys also have large alumni networks, but I mean, ours isn't even very large because we've only been a program for 15 years. But it was kind of crazy, honestly. Like at our alumni game, meeting all the alumni, then they all just go, yeah, join the LinkedIn right away, and like we have a huge LinkedIn group, and then all of them are like, yeah, take my number. When you're done with school, we can help you find like a job or anything. And all these guys are mechanical engineers or engineers to some degree. And I just thought that was kind of insane. Just like being a freshman in college and they're coming up to you like, hey, I can help you out when you graduate in 3-4 years, And then just also like the span of where some of your alumni are. I mean, we have alumni in Wisconsin, so when I go back, like I can get help from them getting a job there, or it's a huge help to have other guys who have gone through what you've gone through and are willing to help a guy like themselves out.
So not to put you on the spot, Wade, have you started thinking about what that like summer experience or opportunity is going to be yet?
Yeah, so when I was a senior in high school going into my freshman year of college, I had a sheet metal fab company internship as a design engineer. And then I switched to Radine, which was an induction heating company. And I used some of those alumni as a reference. So I just thought having like, it's a very different thing to apply to a job when your references are high school teachers, just people who don't necessarily like fit the qualifications that you're trying to get into the job. It's very different when you have professional engineers lined up, ready to be like, yeah, this is your guy. Like, this is who you want. So I'd say that helped me out a lot. And I'm still looking for an internship going into this next summer, but yeah.
Are you trying to stay out there? Or are you trying to come back home?
I'll be coming back home. I love the Midwest. I'm not gonna lie.
Shout out anybody that's on this call. Homie's looking for a design engineer internship. Let's start hitting the horns. Let's get this guy hooked up. Let's find him some help. But Wade, I absolutely love it, man. And I think like I couldn't imagine just even being in that moment as a freshman and still having so much to learn that you just didn't know yet.
Yeah, I mean, I hadn't even taken an engineering class yet. I mean, I took like intro to engineering where you're like making a coffee mug on CAD, but I didn't know like strength of materials or anything. And they were like, I got you. So
like 2 45-pound plates just like lifted off of your shoulders in that capacity. Yeah. I could not imagine how relieved that might have felt for you at that time. How about you, Julian? I know that you're on that tail end of that academic career, so thinking about 9 to 5 is probably starting to heat up quickly for you.
Yeah, it is. I'm thinking about it a little bit, but we're focused on the rest of my career right now.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, I think definitely that alumni support helps a lot. And especially for me, I've worked at an engineering firm now for 2 years, and I have a couple places that I've applied to and I got accepted. So I'm just gonna kind of weighing my options here. But I'll tell a story about how I got my internship as well. I worked with this company that's in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and how I got the job was kind of with the help of an old teammate. I knew people who worked with this company, but I never was in communication with them as deep as I was after my teammate kind of started talking to them. Mm-hmm. He graduated 2 years ago now, and he actually worked in the building right next to where the engineering firm was. And he just so happened to kind of talk with the CEO of the company about me and about internship positions. And after I was applying and kind of the interview process, I was able to get hired and get the job. So it was pretty cool to have that help.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And that is so such like a full circle moment for you as well too.
Yeah.
And to have a homie who's willing to put his neck out there and be like, oh, your name is on this building. You need to hire this guy. And then it took all of a week and a half, 2 weeks, couple conversations for you to nail that job. And that's the same company that you've been with since, or have like had more?
Yeah, same company. Yeah.
sometimes things work out the way they're supposed to do. So what about this upcoming summer? What are your plans?
I might go back to the company. I do like staying close to home, but I may venture to Milwaukee, pretty far away from Green Bay.
Nice.
Well, otherwise, if I want to stay in the Green Bay area, I might decide to switch companies and go another route just to expand my resume and experience as well. But I'm talking with my professors and what my best options are moving forward, just going into the engineering profession and what kind of would look good for my resume and kind of just experience in general. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. I guess post graduation, I do plan on going back to school just to get another degree or get my MBA. So I'll just do that. But
Good
for
you,
now,
man.
yeah, working with these internships definitely helps kind of get me prepared for the real world. So
Yeah, good for you, brother, man. And the 414 welcomes you. So you make your way back down to Green City when that summertime comes. Like, you give me a call. We'd love to find time to connect. And best luck with the job hunt as well. I mean, options are great. So many people don't really feel like they have them, and for you to be in a position to make the best decision for you with the options that you have, clearly that is an incredible opportunity. So best of luck. I know it's going to be awesome for you. Soko. So how about, like we talked about the 3-2 program, applying to Wash U, like let's get into the weeds a little bit more about what that kind of experience looks like with the timeline that you have ahead of you now.
Yeah, so applying to Wash U or transferring here or there from Lawrence, they have a hard cutoff of a 3.2 GPA at your time at Lawrence. But being an athlete, they'll actually give you a little bit of leeway. So if you're below that GPA mark, they're like, hey, let's look at some of your extracurriculars. Let's look at your time at Lawrence. What did you do? And they're actually going to be more lenient with your application rather than let's say you're not an athlete. They'll just be hard cut off 3.2. If you don't make it, you don't make it. And then you're just stuck at Lawrence and you can't do the program. For me, I don't think I will have to worry about that. But let's say you're someone that's below a 3.2. Let's say you're at a 3.0. And you're an athlete, you're playing lacrosse or football or whatever. Maybe they'll accept you. And that's very important because, being an athlete and being a student is definitely not easy. So that's part of the reason why they're giving some of that leeway there, and that's important.
Yeah, and I think Zach, like you've also had the chance. I mean, clearly you found a way to play multiple sports in the same season for multiple years in high school. So your ability to probably get more involved on campus at Lawrence wasn't too challenging, or is maybe just a part of your like DNA. So maybe talk a little more about some of the extracurricular opportunities that you felt like has also made your application a bit more robust or help you stand out.
Yeah, so right now I'm the secretary of the club Best Buddies at Lawrence. I do some of that stuff there, which is awesome. I'm also in fraternity. I am the president of development at the fraternity. I live in the house, so it's always fun there. I'm a TA, so I'm grading the homeworks and that kind of stuff. I'm also the team captain at Lawrence, so I have to oversee a bunch of different kind of stuff like that. And so my day is always just full of chaos. So throwing that on a resume or an application is definitely going to give me a little bit more leeway, especially if I'm looking to apply to post grad or the 3.2 engineering program. So yeah.
Yeah, just adding layers and stacks to you as a person, man. Like anything we could do to separate yourself from the pack, and those are all things that are only going to continue to do that. So, dude, so pumped for you. So, what about this upcoming summer? What are your plans? What do you got going on?
Right now, I'm kind of a baby in the process since I'm 5 years
Yeah.
total. So I'm going to look for my first internship. I'm actually working with the career counselor at Lawrence. I don't know exactly what it looks like yet. We're creating my resume. We're adding everything together. So I'm going to start applying for some of the internships. I don't know if I'm fully set on getting one this summer, but the summer after that for sure. Part of the reason why it's tough right now for me is because I'm a physics major and then I'm also looking to do engineering. So applying for engineering internships is kind of tough right now because I haven't taken any engineering classes. So I'm looking to do some physics internships probably the summer after this summer.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. I love that for you. And you got time. You absolutely got time. And I know that you're going to find a way to get to it. I mean, you've went and got everything you've gotten up until this point in time. Why would this next opportunity be different, right? How about you, Logan? Let's talk a little bit more about that inner scholastic and athletic relationship when we find ourselves hurt just maybe one too many times when we hop the stage.
Yeah, I've dealt with some injuries this season, so I've built a relationship with like our team doctor, so we have our team doctors from the Cleveland Clinic, who just like work with our athletics here. So from building that relationship with her and just talking to her, and not even about my injury or just about anything, she's helped me land like to get into the interview processes and like start looking at internships at the Cleveland Clinic in their athletic training and physical therapy departments. So just like somebody I would have never built a relationship with, because why would you want to know the team doctor? That means something's not going well. But just building that relationship has gotten me a great opportunity at one of the best hospitals in the country to get an internship in what I want to do. So
100%, man. Relationships are everything. Like, and you just keep showing up and being yourself, and people are going to just naturally gravitate towards you as well too. You keep doing right by people, they're going to do right by you. Gentlemen, I could not thank you guys enough for your time today. This conversation was incredible. It was very, very involved, very specific to each of your experiences, which I know a lot of people on the call live or are going to watch replay are going to take a lot out of. So, closing remarks, maybe let's just walk through the sentence or two of some advice that you'd love to give your former self that you know now. And especially, we got guys that are in 7th grade, right, that are on this call. So they are far away from when it comes to this college experience. So anything you might want to share or add is before we say goodbye on this opportunity this evening.
I'll just go ahead. I'll say just you have time. Like if you're a young gun, you have time to figure out what you want to do and where you want to go. So just lean on your support systems around you and just really figure out what you want for your future, because it is your future. But also don't be hesitant. You can reach out to me, as I'm sure any of the other guys on this call, with any questions or if you need help with anything. I'm more than happy to help. So
much love, Logan. We appreciate you, brother.
I guess I can go. I guess my biggest thing just talking from like a recruiting standpoint is do what you love, and it's not that serious. Going through the process, I would always be like, oh, like what if I don't get to play here, or what if academics aren't good? Like when you find a place that you'll fit in, you'll fit in. And when you get there, nobody's like, oh, this kid did this in high school or whatever. Like you're all on even playing ground. So just find a place that you love and everything will work out.
I love that. Especially with all the 27s we have on the call as well too, that I know are like very much in the thick of this and working through all of the very recent changes on that setting and climate that this grad class has had to answer for, right? So you should have fun with this. Like you're finding your future home. Like this is going to be the next step in the rest of your life. So let's do it with a smile on our face. So Wade, I love that. I appreciate it, dude.
No problem. And feel free to reach out to me whenever if anybody has any questions.
Especially if you got an opportunity for an internship, Wade Meisner on the market.
Yeah.
Get him. We cannot advocate for him more.
Thank you, Billy.
Yeah, I guess one last thing I'll say is that you're going to run into failure. I know for me, kind of making mistakes and failing, it was a hard thing for me to accept for a while, especially coming in and like being successful in high school, school wise, lacrosse wise. Coming into a college world is a little different. Yeah, I failed a couple things and I didn't play right away and whatnot, but it's how you kind of react to those situations and want to improve yourself so that you're better off next time and make sure you're not in those same situations as you were before. So yeah, failure is all right.
1,000%. Everyone does it. Like it's in there's no better way to learn. And if we just spend so much more time focusing on the process and like the things that we choose to do on a daily basis versus putting all of that effort and energy solely into the outcome, like you're always going to end up being a winner. regardless of what the scoreboard or the test score or whatever you might run into is going to tell you back. So, Julian, thank you again. Appreciate your time, my man.
Last thing I'll say is don't freak out and do what you love to do. That's what I would tell myself if I could. I was freaking out. I was like, hey, am I gonna quit lacrosse? Am I not gonna want to do the career I want to do? And I did what I love to do for both, and I figured it out. So yeah.
Awesome. And no better way to end the call as well. Like, spend more time figuring out what you really truly love. Put your whole self into it. Everything else is going to work out. So, gentlemen, thank you again for all of your effort and energy. We appreciate it. We love you. We can't wait to have you guys back. And more to come as well too soon. So everyone else who has been able to make their way into the call, thank you for the time this evening. And we very much look forward to the next opportunity that we'll have here in a couple weeks. On that, peace out. Have a good one.